Welcome back, everyone. I am Ryan Ayers, and you are currently on air. With the college football season set to kick off a little over a month from today down in Australia, a game between Cal Berkeley and Hawaii will take place. A week later is when it's really getting going, the official kickoff with all teams playing. And today, the media days for the Big Ten started, and I really want to touch upon some things I heard and saw from today and some issues I've had with that conference over the last few years. The first one being that they're no longer the Big Ten. They have 14 teams in that conference. Get over the arrogance. You know, you bunched in a couple of garbage football programs like Rutgers and Maryland just to get into that media market, and I don't think it's ever really going to work out because the teams in the Midwest, Ohio State, Michigan, maybe Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan State, are always going to be the heart of that conference. So not only do they sell out a few years ago and not even willing to change their logoing, it's getting to the point where we hear today, Michigan. I want to touch upon them mainly, and Ohio State. So many teams in that conference, as we've seen over the last few years, they get an opportunity to waltz all the way to the Final Four after virtually playing nobody their entire season. Most teams, and you look at Michigan this year, like I want to focus on, they don't play anybody in their non-conference. Colorado, Hawaii, UCF, that I don't even know if they won a game last year. So how do you get consideration, as we hear Michigan now from Las Vegas is the betting favorite to go to the Final Four and win the national championship? How are you even qualified when you don't play anybody out of your conference? And I get in arguments all the time with people in the Midwest. The Big Ten isn't even that good of a football conference. Look at these conferences like the SEC, the Big 12. I know they don't play any defense, but especially the Pac-12. Most of these teams don't even get an opportunity to go play in the college football playoff from those divisions and conferences because they actually play big-time competition week in and week out. You don't see that as a case in the Big Ten. And you look at Michigan State last year in their playoff game, you look at Iowa in their bowl game in Pasadena, and they were just absolutely destroyed. They didn't even match up with teams like Alabama and Stanford. Yet they get the opportunity, like I said, to waltz right in there just off name brand and what used to be a popular conference. They're hanging on because of the alumni and the money, basically. But Jim Harbaugh today in Chicago, where the Big Ten Media Day started, was boasting about how they're ready to take on the expectations. It's not about a rap video anymore. It's about them going out and playing big-time college football and winning their games. They really don't have a tough game until they meet Iowa at Iowa in November, and then they get Ohio State. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're undefeated going to those games. It's not a real big shock that they have these expectations. They don't play anybody. So it's really a joke to sit there and say you're embracing the expectations or the hate and you're going to take it on. You have Cupcake City on your schedule week in, week out, virtually all the way to the last game of the season against Ohio State. Ohio State is the one team, and they've proven it. And I'm on, not the bandwagon, but I understand it. They're the one team that I respect out of the Big Ten. J.T. Barrett's back at quarterback. All that kid does is win football games. Urban Meyer is an absolute outstanding ball coach, no matter how you feel about him. But when you look at Jim Harbaugh, what has he really done? He's never really won big-time games to get all this attention. Never really had to win big-time games. What bowl game to speak of? Last year they played a garbage Florida team. They took on Virginia Tech when he was at Stanford, and he couldn't win the big one in the NFL. So he gets all this attention, but Urban Meyer really just keeps on trotting along, and I expect him to continue to dominate Jim Harbaugh like he did last year in their rivalry. But as you look forward to the Michigan side for their quarterback competition, they've got three guys out there. So, I mean, when you've got three, you've got none. Ohio State's got J.T. Barrett, and they are always going to be the cream of the crop. They just always seem to reload and not rebuild. And with that Big Ten preview, I want to let you know you've just been on air, and I am Ryan Ayers.